Hi, this is Dark Journalist. Today I have a special breaking news report in part 2 of my New Age Deep State series. This information clearly outlines the manipulation of the UFO and secret space program community by not only an opportunist marketing campaign, but also a satanic agenda to use disclosure as an occult ritual. Now, in part 1, we showed how the genuine New Age movement people in the UFO community have been targeted and infiltrated by unscrupulous marketing groups and intelligence operations for decades. This latest wave is manifesting as a 3-year plan for disclosure wrapped around the story of Cory Goode. I want us to take a look now behind the curtain to see the forces pulling the strings on this effort. In recent Dark Journalist episodes and in part 1 of our New Age Deep State series, we've outlined the strange story of Cory Goode and his bizarre tale of being a time traveling astronaut. Now, bizarre claims are nothing new to the alternative research field, but the widespread promotion of a wild story with no actual evidence by some major alternative media outlets like Gaia TV and David Wilcock's Cosmic Disclosure series was surprising. Suddenly, Goode was being promoted as if his story of being an emissary of blue avian aliens and a part of the secret space program were actually real when no vetting had taken place, and Goode's story kept becoming more and more elaborate, such as his stories of being in Antarctica and meeting beings from inner Earth. But the biggest marketing move of all was the creation of a new alien species, the blue avians. Recently, at Contact in the Desert, Cory had a meeting where pictures were shared publicly of his team hard at work on the new Secret Space Program book. Now, this is a good time for us to take a look and get acquainted with this team. Here is Roger Ramsar, announced at Contact in the Desert as Cory's business partner. Beside him, Jordan Sather, one of Cory's kids, hand-picked by Ramsar. At the end is an unknown person, possibly an editor. Across from her, author Michael Sala, who prints Cory's stories as if they were gospel truth. Next to him, Bob Wood, a former aerospace researcher for McDonnell Douglas. Next to him, William Tompkins, a whistleblower of advanced tech during World War II. And next to him, Cory Goode. Going back to Roger Ramsar for a moment, he's kept a conspicuously low profile in this until Conscious Life Expo, where he announced he was the producer of Cory Goode's comic book project, Comic Disclosure, and more. He also talked about hearing the blue avian message 2 years ago. This is all on Cory's website, spherebeingalliance.com. Ramsar virtually popped into the UFO scene out of nowhere last year on a website and YouTube channel called Full Disclosure Now. He called it the Full Disclosure Network, or FDN. But strangely, he had a different name then, Emma Gold, a reference to American anarchist Emma Goldman. We'll also see him use a third name shortly. The Full Disclosure Network featured Cory's kid, Jordan Sather. Oddly enough, the website recently disappeared. So let's review. Roger Ramsar, aka Emma Gold, shows up barely a year ago on the UFO scene, pulls together a UFO network, becomes Cory Goode's business manager, becomes the force behind Cory's comic book and his Eclipse of Disclosure conference events, and now is making a secret space program book with Goode, Tompkins, and Cory's kid Jordan. What just happened? Who is Emma Gold, Roger Ramsar, or shall we say Roger Richards, as he announced himself at Conscious Life Expo? Let's take a closer look. Ramsar had no background on UFOs or disclosure until last year. He had a business called Offerings Wholesale, import-export products in Oregon. His bio states he wanted to create a global network of connection, similar to the push behind FDN. Let's look at this word offerings and go back to the year 2000. At that time, Ramsar had a band that would last 9 years called Offering to the Sun. He's listed at the time as Roger Ramsar. The band clearly embraced satanic imagery, even calling their page on Bandcamp Offering to the Sun 666. I suppose that explains the occult star tattoo on his hand. When Ramsar moved on, after 9 years of satanic metal, he went on to create a new act, Low Sun, on the cover of which can be seen Lucifer's sigil. In recent videos of Ramsar giving spiritual advice, the tattoo of Lucifer's sigil can clearly be seen on his neck, along with the occult star on his hand. Ramsar's cover art depicted an upside-down pentagram and the satanic gates of hell seal. He'd taken to calling himself Roger R. Richards. Listing his music categories, he called it apocalyptic and, strangely, devotional. Listing it under devotional clearly implies religious overtones, but to what? The satanic imagery on the cover, perhaps? We've now looked at 12 years so far of devotional satanic association. We've seen him with Lucifer's sigil as his logo, an occult star hand tattoo, and calling himself Emma Gold and Roger Richards. It's clear Roger Ramsar has been embracing satanic imagery for over a decade. Do you think he's trying to tell us something? We have to wonder, why does someone who identifies so strongly with Satanism want to promote blue avian aliens? Why make this big push into UFOs and the secret space program, become Cory Goode's business partner, and now suddenly proclaim, only since 2016, that UFO disclosure is his life's mission? Ramsar created the Goode marketing blitz of video games, comic books, and conference events, and handpicked Cory's kids to lure a young adult audience into a cult-like narrative of Cory Goode as a messenger of blue avian aliens. Ramsar's devotion to satanic imagery, including a neck tattoo of Lucifer's sigil, tells us a great deal about Roger Ramsar. The question is, why is Cory Goode business partners with a Satanist? Cory claims he invokes Jesus Christ to keep bad aliens away. Well, what does he do when he sees Roger Ramsar? Now we have to ask, who the hell is behind this Cory Goode charade? Let's go find out. Cory's self-proclaimed business partner Roger Ramsar crashed into the UFO scene last year, talking about disclosure. He had no past with any UFO involvement, books, or anything to speak of. How did Cory's ridiculous story get touted by Gaia TV, who predominantly does respectable higher consciousness programming shows? How did David Wilcock convince Gaia to go along with Cory's bizarre story with no due diligence? Did Wilcock convince the programmers against their own better judgment? How are we sitting here today talking about Cory's secret space program book and comic book being produced by someone who, from all outward appearances, is a Satanist? Now, there are many different digital artifacts available online about Roger Ramsar if you know where to look. His artwork is perhaps the most telling. This image, available for $350 on his Low Sun page, may even be an early working prototype of a blue avian alien. It's clearly a blue bird, but in this case, it's being crucified. His other artwork shows satanic influence. The logo of Low Sun is Lucifer's sigil. Ramsar has been associated with this Luciferic imagery for most of his adult life. Now, he apparently wants to promote young adults as being experts on the secret space program. We need to address the possibility that this is an attempt to co-opt the New Age UFO audience by satanic forces with a 3-year disclosure marketing plan to infiltrate the independent media. We need to answer the question, who is Roger Ramsar? Roger Richards, Emma Gold. What is he up to with his marketing campaign? And why is he Cory Goode's business partner? We need those answers now. Many Satanists feel that Lucifer is a light bringer and their job is to establish his kingdom here on Earth. I've wondered why, in all the disclosure materials connected with Ramsar and his organizations, we see the word disclosure, but not UFO disclosure. It's strangely missing. Is Ramsar's idea of disclosure about the light-bringer Lucifer having domain here on Earth? And is he using the blue avians in Cory Goode's ever more elaborate stories to get it? Now, I want to make a public appeal to Cory's kids, Justin Deschamps, Jordan Sather, and Teresa Yanaros, to take this information to heart, see that you're probably being used here, and take a closer look at this manipulative marketing game that you've been lured into. I know from sources that none of you have benefited financially at all, and it's a big promise of things to come in the future. But from what I understand, more Cory's kids are already being lined up. For these guys, this is business. Sources tell me that people involved at the high level of this marketing team already have a parachute plan, when Cory's promo crashes to Earth. Keep that in mind. My question for Cory Goode is, why is your business partner identified for over a decade with Satanism? And my question to Roger Ramsar, Roger Richards, Emma Gold, is this: where does your devotion to Satanism end and your marketing campaign for disclosure begin? Or is the disclosure you're seeking a smokescreen for something far more nefarious? These are questions that only you can answer. It's time to step out of the shadows and tell us, what is this all about? Now, in America, you have the right to worship anything you want, but in the alternative community, you need to be transparent and tell us what your agenda is really all about. I somehow don't think it's blue avians. Finally, to our viewers, I say you've seen a lot of disturbing images and heard some unsettling facts. Nonetheless, this is a great opportunity to make the alternative media a responsible, transparent field. Now, there's more to come out on this story. It's heavy, and it isn't going away until it's resolved. But I think we can show the best judgment by seeing the facts in the light of day and defending our fields of research from those who seek to harvest our genuine interest. I'm Dark Journalist. Thank you for joining me for part 2 of my New Age Deep State series, and I'll see you soon. Thanks, Walker.